The planet was called Varela, a jungle moon orbiting the gas giant Ariel in Sector 9G. I wasn't supposed to be here long. Just a quick recon to assess local flora for potential pharmaceutical use. Alone. Routine. At least it was supposed to be. But that changed the moment I saw her. I just filtered water from a moss-wrapped stream, the jungle humidity soaking my clothes even in the morning. My rifle was slung across my back, not because I expected trouble, but because I'd learned not to take anything for granted on alien worlds. That's when I felt it. Eyes on me. I turned slowly, and there she was. She couldn't have been taller than 4 feet, standing between 2 towering fern stalks. Her skin shimmered with a faint cerulean hue, her hair a soft silver that cascaded down to her hips, and her eyes, bright, golden, cat-like, glowed in the dim light. She wore what looked like woven vines and animal hide, barely enough to be called armor, and held a spear taller than she was. For a second, we just stared at each other. Then she stepped forward. "You are human?" Her voice was soft, accented, and careful, like she'd practiced the word. "Yeah," I replied, lowering my stance slightly to not look so intimidating. "Name's Grant." She tilted her head. "I am Killa, Huntress of the Renari clan." She placed a hand over her chest with pride, though her fingers trembled. "I need your strength." That was how it began. Killa explained, between her broken standard and my attempts to piece together her native tongue, that her people were being hunted, not by predators or warlords, but by machines. Old terraforming drones gone rogue, leftover tech from a long-abandoned colonization attempt by some long-dead corporation. The machines had grown self-aware over decades, repurposing themselves into armored, patrolling death hunters. They saw any carbon-based life as contaminants, and they were exterminating everything, including Killa's people. Her voice shook as she spoke, but her back remained straight. She was brave, a warrior, but also desperate. "You're kind," she said, gesturing to my chest and arms. "You are strong. We are swift, but we cannot break the metal beasts." I looked at her, really looked at her. Her shoulders bore scars. Her legs were scratched and bruised. This girl, this huntress, had fought hard but was losing. And she had come to me. I didn't come here to play hero. But how could I say no? I nodded. "I'll help." The journey to her village took hours, cutting through tangled vines and bioluminescent growth. Along the way, she told me about her people, how they once lived among the trees in peace until the machines came. They called them the Cold Ones. Her village wasn't what I expected. It was hidden beneath thick canopies, nestled in woven structures suspended from towering trees. Dozens of small Renari gathered, eyes wide with hope and fear when they saw me. Some hissed. Others reached out to touch my boots, my rifle, my hands. "Strong," they whispered, "like the ancients." I didn't understand that part. Killa just shook her head. "Old stories. Of skyfolk who came before. Some think you are one." I wasn't. Just a recon specialist with muscles and decent aim. But maybe that was enough. That night, Killa led me to a ridge overlooking a clearing. Below us, the Cold Ones patrolled, a trio of spider-like machines with glowing red optics and steel limbs. They moved in perfect sync, scanning the forest floor, slicing through undergrowth with buzzsaws and plasma cutters. "3," I whispered. "Too many for us alone," she admitted. "But if we lure one away, we kill it. We give the village hope." I looked at her, her tiny hand clutching the shaft of her spear, her eyes burning. "Then let's give them hope." We used fire as bait. Dry vines soaked in sap, twisted and burned in a circle. The heat and smoke drew one of the cold ones in like a moth. As it stepped into the trap, Killa leapt from the trees with impossible agility, her spear driving into a joint near its optic core. The creature screeched, an inhuman mechanical wail, and thrashed. I was already moving, rifle locked and aimed. I fired 3 rounds into its sensor cluster. Sparks burst. It stumbled. Killa shouted a battle cry, flipping onto its back, driving her spear again and again. But the machine wasn't done. A blade shot from its abdomen, nearly catching her. She jumped, but it clipped her leg. She fell with a cry. I moved faster than I ever had. With a roar, I slammed the butt of my rifle into its optic, climbed onto its back, and ripped open a panel. Inside, glowing blue circuitry pulsed. And I punched it. It sparked violently. The drone twitched, then collapsed into silence. I turned to Killa. She was breathing hard, blood trickling from her leg. But she was smiling. "You have strength," she said, reaching for my hand. I pulled her up. "You have courage." We brought the machine's head back to the village. The reaction was overwhelming. Cheers echoed from the trees. Elders bowed. Children chanted my name. But I shook my head. "Not me," I said, placing my hand on Killa's shoulder. "Her. She's your huntress." She looked up at me, eyes wide. "You gave me strength," she whispered. "Not just muscle. Hope." I smiled. "And you reminded me what it means to fight for something that matters." The next days blurred. We trained. Fortified. I taught them to use simple explosives made from local chemicals. We set traps. We fought. The Renari fought like shadows. Swift. Silent. Deadly. I provided firepower and tactics. And Killa? She became more than a huntress. She became a leader. One night, as we sat beside the fire, her leg bandaged and healing, she leaned close. "When this is over," she said softly, "will you stay?" I hesitated. I thought I was just passing through. "But now, you are one of us." She placed her tiny hand over my chest. "Your strength is not just in these," she said, squeezing gently. "It's here." I looked at her, this fierce, small warrior who had faced death, and asked me to stand beside her. "I'll stay," I said. And I meant it.